Hi everyone, I'm Jen Richards and I'm one of the co-authors of Easy, Healthy, Tasty, which is a book of simple no-chop recipes that's specifically designed for people who find the kitchen a difficult place to navigate, whether because they're new to the kitchen or because they have physical or intellectual disabilities. We are living through very strange times. I've just found out that the kids will be home from school from Tuesday. And I'm going to the grocery store and I'm seeing that shelves are empty in places and things that I would usually just rely upon to be there, things that I take for granted aren't there. And every day I'm listening to really scary and, just upsetting news really about COVID-19. And I'm not the only one that's in this situation. In fact, everyone around the world is in this situation. And Charity and I just wanted to make sure that we connect with the people who follow us at this time, specifically because as we see supermarket shelves deplete, as we see it harder to get the staples that we would normally rely upon, we know that the people who find being in the kitchen difficult are going to have a harder time when it comes to staying at home, having to self-isolate, self-quarantine and cook. And so we just wanted to make sure that we are still keeping up with giving you inspiration and ideas and tips and tricks for how you can cook easily in your home. Now I am in my home at the moment. I have children that I have distributed around the house in order to to be able to do this. And so we'll see if any of them make an appearance this evening. My husband Paul is the videographer. Thank you, Paul. And I'm really just cooking our family dinner. Easy, Healthy, Tasty is actually full of no-chop recipes because we wanted to make super simple recipes for people who physically find chopping difficult. But that's not me. And so I routinely chop all my ingredients myself in my kitchen, and that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm going to make a chickpea curry. Now, this curry, I promise you, is an easy and flavourful curry. I'm not going to promise that it's an authentically Indian curry. I can't do that. Although this recipe and this idea was shared to me by a dear friend who was in fact Indian. And she gave me all the ideas and all the spices and a lot of what we're going to talk about this evening. But it's not authentic. It is easy. And an easy dish to throw together for your family. The ingredients are all really simple, so they're all things that I hope you won't have too much trouble finding in grocery stores at the moment for a really good price. So it's onion. I've pre-chopped the onion, mostly because I didn't want to end up crying on this Facebook Live, and the onions sometimes make me cry, so I've pre-chopped that onion. If you are someone who finds onion difficult to chop, maybe you don't even like chopping it, or maybe the chopping action is difficult, you can actually usually buy frozen chopped onion in supermarkets. It would be very easy in this recipe to just whip out and normally that's a really reliable staple, but I went into my local Woolworths to try and find some the other day and they weren't there. So what I was able to find was some cheap fresh tomatoes. Tomatoes are in season at the moment, and so I thought, right, we will go with the chopped fresh tomatoes for this recipe tonight. And so they're all just chopped. Each one of them is chopped up into about 12 pieces. So cut in half, and then half, and then 3. And nothing about it needs to be neat. That's how I roll. And how to cook easily is not to worry too much about things being neat. So they're my ingredients. Oh, of course, they're the first 2 ingredients. And the onions and the tomato, along with all these flavour ingredients, are what is going to make this dish really tastes great. And so the flavor ingredients are garlic. If you've got garlic, fresh garlic, that works really, really well. This is just a no-chop solution to have some in the jar. But if you've got fresh garlic, you'll get a great taste. And if you've got fresh grated ginger, you'll also get a great taste out of that. But I've just got the ginger that you can get from a jar, which is a great no-chop solution that still gives you the flavor that you want. Now most people, when they think curry, they think, oh, I don't really like curries because they're just too spicy for me. And what they mean when they say spicy is there's too much chili in them. They're too hot in my mouth. Well, of the ingredients, the spices that are going into the curry that we're making this evening, only one of them is actually going to have that hot flavor. So I've got ground cumin and ground coriander, and these are the basic flavor notes of most curries. Interestingly enough, when I started to get all these spices out in order to do this Facebook Live, I realized that I didn't have any ground cumin or ground coriander in my pantry. So I actually had the whole seeds and I ground them in a little coffee grinder, which is, I suppose, a great tip if you see a recipe and it's got the ground spice in it and you don't have a packet of the ground spice. You can actually grind up the seeds yourself, and what you find is you get a really beautiful, fresher, lovelier, stronger aroma when you do that. Normally I would have the ground spices, but I was just out. So coriander and cumin are like the base notes of most curries. Turmeric has this really earthy taste, and it's this beautiful yellow color, and it's what makes curries stain when you spill them down your white shirt. Got lots of health benefits as well, but it also has this beautiful earthy mushroomy kind of note to the curry. Garam Masala, that's a traditional Indian spice mix, and we'll add that at the end. It really lifts Indian food. And this is the one that's going to provide any pep, any spice, any hot heat in your mouth in this curry. And we're only going to put a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of this in. It's very hot. It's Kashmiri chili, a hot version of Kashmiri chili, and my children don't like particularly spicy food. So because I'm cooking for them, I'm only putting in a teeny, 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 tiny bit in order to, just give it something. But you can omit the chili altogether. If you don't want even a hint of spice, you don't need to put chili in a curry. In fact, I cooked a couple of curries for people last weekend, and I wasn't sure how they were going to go with spice, and so I just left out the chili, and you still get all those flavor notes underneath. You just don't have the heat over the top. Now chickpeas. This is another thing that I found difficult to get in the shops this week. So I went in with my shopping list of a couple of tins of chickpeas, and unfortunately they were gone. But I had some dried chickpeas in my pantry. So I prepared these a couple of days ago by soaking them overnight and then boiling them in water with a bit of salt and a bay leaf until they were soft. So nothing was precise about it. I just left them overnight and then covered them in water in a saucepan and boiled them until they were soft, and that took about 40 minutes. And that's more or less how the chickpeas that you get in cans are prepared. And so if you're having trouble finding chickpeas in cans at the moment, if you're a little bit prepared, the day before, so you can soak them, you can actually buy the dried ones and prepare them yourself. Usually they're cheaper too. So that's no chopping in that. That's a good hack if you're finding it difficult to get tins at the moment. Okay, so let's do this. This is my hob. Put it on a really high heat. I might have to change it, I think maybe halfway through. We'll see how we go. I'm just putting a little bit of oil in the pan. It's probably a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. My video guy just told me that I needed the lighter. And I'm going to start by cooking the onions and just making them a little bit soft, because they're once they get lovely and soft, they then get sweet, and that provides a lovely flavour underneath. So I'll just leave them to cook. I just remembered one more ingredient, which is essential in Indian cooking, which is salt. So you can use any kind of salt that you like. This is flaked sea salt. Don't look too closely because there are things in it. Not bad things, just, you know, let's not put that. Let's not air our dirty laundry on Facebook. So the onions crackle. If you are using the frozen pre-chopped ones that you can get in the supermarket, you might want to add them to the dish add them to the oil while the oil is cold, because if you add it to hot oil, they tend to sputter a bit more. But that's really the only accommodation that you need to make using those. So they're getting beautiful and done. Now, if you were being like super traditionally Indian instead of me, you would probably toast all your spices first in a dry frying pan, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm going to toast them sort of along the same time as I cook the onions. So I've got it's not coriander seed, it's coriander and cumin here. This one's the cumin, this one's the coriander, and I'm going to toast them with my onions and sort of build up all the flavours underneath. So I'm putting in like a heaped teaspoon of the cumin and a nice big one of the coriander. It smells so good. And I'm just going to cook them through my onions. So you can kind of imagine, like even if you bought a paste, a curry paste, and you could definitely buy your own curry paste, this is the steps you would take. You'll cook the onion first and then cook the paste over the top. So this is slightly less of the turmeric, which just looks so beautiful when it's in the pan. And then I'm going to put a teeny tiny, oh look how full that is compared to my others, bit of the chili in. I push it around and it sort of, you can start to smell it now. It really starts to smell good once you're doing this. And you've got all those flavours in the bottom of the pan. Oh, one thing we haven't done now, I'll add some garlic and I'll add some ginger as well, which is like a classic combo when we're talking Indian food. Using lots of different spoons so I don't sort of cross-contaminate my ginger and garlic. I'm just going to move this to a different element because that one's a bit too hot. And I don't want to burn the spices. So I've got all those flavour ingredients there now. And now I'm going to put in my tomatoes. Now, easy if you want to use your tin of tomatoes just here. You can, look, you don't need to be precise when you're doing this. So maybe I've got two tins worth, a tin and a half, there's 6 tomatoes that I chopped up. And they will cook down quite a bit. They will cook down quite a bit when the heat gets to them. Takes less time if you do have a tin of tomatoes. I think I might just add the tiniest bit of water, just because the pan got quite hot before. The tomatoes will release some of their own water, but it'll be terrible if we did this Facebook Live and, I burnt stuff, basically. Which happens. So I'm just going to let those tomatoes cook over the heat for a little bit, and they'll go all collapsy. And then I'll add the chickpeas in, and then leave it for a bit to bubble, maybe a little bit of water, maybe a bit of chicken stock. If I had it, I would add chicken stock, but I don't, so I add water. And just let it boil all together. I should say, this is super, super important. I did actually wash my hands before we begin. That's a big thing to do all the time, really. But even more now is to be thinking about when we're washing our hands and when we're using hand sanitizer. So I actually meant to say that at the very beginning and start with, oh look, I've cleaned my hands, but sorry, I forgot. So if you come back, you can see that the tomatoes are now, they're starting to break down. So see how you can see the skins are coming off? Now, if you're a purist, which I am so not a purist, but if you were a purist, you would want the tomatoes to be skinned, and you wouldn't want that, you wouldn't want them to be skinned and de-seeded and, ugh. But I say, just go with what's easy, which is to cut them up and chuck them in and enjoy all the fibre that's in the skins as well. Now, if you are a parent watching this, you might think to yourself, yes, but Jen, this is all very well. Are your kids going to eat this curry? And I would say to you, I'm expecting a 50% success rate with this dish. So, in terms of my children, my husband will love it, won't you, darling? But in terms of my children, I have 3 of them. I'm expecting 1 to enjoy it, 1 to be meh, and 1 to go, Mum, I will refuse to eat that. And I will say to that child, here, have some rice. Here, have some of the flatbreads that go with it. That's kind of how we roll. We'll be serving this with, or if you want to come back, Corey, you can sort of see they're breaking down even more now. And you can sort of see all that curriness, beautiful flavour and colour that's in the dish. I was saying something. What was I saying, Paul?
Your children some will eat it, some will not.
Some will eat it, some will not. Oh, and we will serve it with some rice, which is also hard to find at the shops at the moment. But I had a big bag. Well, I ended up getting a big bag from Costco, so I can't have a lot. So we've got some rice. If you can't get rice at the moment and you're thinking, well, what's a curry without rice? Flatbreads are good. Something I'm not going to show you how to make tonight, but we can maybe do another Facebook Live and I'll show you. This is my flatbread dough. So this is a yogurt and flour flatbread dough. And I just need to turn it down. And this will make a few flatbreads on the grill. I don't have time to show you this tonight, but maybe I can do another Facebook Live showing you how to make your own flatbreads. In case you need a carb with your dinner and you can't get hold of rice or pasta or whatever else it is that you like. We'll also serve it with some yogurt, and that will bring down any chili flavours, chili notes that are too hot for the youngest members of the family. It will dampen them down and be cool and refreshing. I didn't want to go shopping this afternoon, because who wants to go to the shops at the moment if you don't have to? So I really love to serve this with some broccoli or with a fresh salad, but we'll just have this as it is tonight. That's kind of all I have to say. Let me put the chickpeas in. Oh no, it's gone. Okay, so now that you can see how there's still some that are a bit firm, but most of them have collapsed down. And as I say, if you're using tomato, like tinned tomatoes, this is going to take a lot less time because the tomatoes pretty much collapsed already. But then I'm putting in my chickpeas. Look, I'm thinking, what was more than I meant to put in? I'm thinking this is a couple of tins of chickpeas in here. And I'm going to add some water as well, just to bring it all together. If I had chicken stock, vegetable stock, I would definitely add that instead because that would bring in more flavour to the dish. But at the moment, I'm just going to add a little bit of water and that's going to cook down.
I love food.
Can you all hear my teenage daughter? She's thrilled to be on Facebook now, I'm sure. This is usually how I do this dish. The only thing I sometimes add, I'm not sure, maybe I'll add it tonight, I don't know, I haven't decided, is coconut milk. Sometimes I add coconut milk to a curry like this, and that brings down any heat in the dish again. So sometimes if I'm cooking a curry and it's getting too hot, I just put in coconut milk to sort of calm it all down. Or I might add coconut milk. That's what I might add. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this one just yet. But it's time to see. So the chickpeas were already cooked. So more or less this dish is cooked right now. So any extra time I give it will just allow the flavours to all come together. Oh, the chickpeas I suppose will heat through, the flavours will come together. But now's a good time to taste it and just check that is happening and I haven't done something wildly wrong while I've been thinking about Facebooky people. Want to swallow a bit of tomato. Feel a bit like Jamie Oliver right now, don't mind saying. So it's good. It just needs a little bit of salt to help boost all the flavours. A little bit of a kick of chilli at the end, but it's nothing that my children are going to object to. So that's a pinch of, that was a lot of salt. That was like a chef's pinch of salt. Sorry about that. But that was, I put that much salt in because, I don't know, if you've ever cooked with Indian people, they love salt. It's the essential spice. So, I haven't stirred that very well. One more thing is to just add a little bit of Garam Masala. So that's how much Garam Masala that I'm adding. Which then just adds this really lovely savoury sort of note. Fragrant. I don't know. I feel like I should have a lot of facts about what is in Garam Masala, but I don't to hand, so sorry about that. And I think that will add what I need. If I had some coriander, I would definitely garnish this dish with coriander. But I'm afraid I don't. So now I'm going to leave this to probably just bubble away, like on a soup, turn that down even more, on a super low heat for maybe 15 minutes. I don't know, maybe longer, it's not this exact science, but 15 minutes while I sort of go and get all the other elements of dinner ready. I don't know, I hope that this has given you some kind of inspiration, some kind of ideas for what you can do with the ingredients. I think if the run on mince and pasta and everything that's been in the shops at the moment has proved anything, it's that Australians really know how to cook spaghetti bolognese. But hopefully this has given you another idea of what you can do. And I hope that you will tune in to easy, healthy, tasty. We're going to do a few more of these Facebook Lives. I think that we are all in this together and that we want to be physically distant from each other, but we want to be socially connected. And so please connect with us socially. Charity will be doing another one of these this week. I'll probably do another one as well. And in the meantime, if you want more recipes, I suppose you can go to easyhealthytasty.com where the book is. And we're on Facebook and Instagram if you want to follow up and ask us any questions. I just have this feeling that I've probably left out something that's super important, and I'm sorry about that. But follow up if you have a question, and Charity or I will answer it. Stay safe, everyone, and take care. Bye.